Cup champions.
Sydney FC, they'll win the cup.
The bright lights of Lakeside Stadium are home to Australia Cup action again as four-time NSL winners South Melbourne host Wellington Phoenix in a tasty NPL v A-Leagues bout. It was a record-equaling 9th Doherty Cup for South on Saturday, and now they'll look to repeat the feat of the side they knocked out in that State Cup final, Oakley Cannons, and beat A-League's opposition. Just the 15th cup set potentially in the offing tonight. It's a chance for the NSD aspirants to show that they belong on the national stage, but a stern test awaits in the form of a Wellington Phoenix side riding high off the back of their best ever A-League season. It was a dream first year for head coach Giancarlo Italiano, but it's been a slightly rockier start to the new campaign. 8 stars from last season have left. International duty has put players away, and a bright, youthful Phoenix side without 5 first-team stars will run out for their first pre-season match tonight. But it's a young side. The challenge is ahead, but after a debut season as head coach that silenced every critic and broke club records of 20, who are we to doubt Sheafy? Lakeside is looking resplendent. The grandstand begins to build with its crowd, and a big round of 32 clash awaits here at Albert Park as we look to the starting lineups for both sides, and there are 4 changes for the South Melbourne outfit that secured that Doherty Cup victory. Javi Lopez has retained his place in the sticks. He was the hero, saving 2 penalties in the shootout. Marko Jankovic leads a back 3. He will hope to do exactly what he did against Wellington Phoenix in 2018, which is score the goal that knocks them out in the round of 32. That was what he did for Bentley Greens back in the day. Mario Barcia is a former Team Wellington midfielder anchoring the midfield, while up top, the captain Harrison Sawyer is a 5-time former Newcastle Jet with 16 goals in NPL Victoria this season. Watch out for the likes of Noel Bernardo, the Argentine maestro, and fellow former Jet Andy Brennan on the bench for South Melbourne. A few young faces aplenty, and that is certainly the order of the day for this 11 as well. Wellington Phoenix naming a starting 11 with an average age of 20.8 years, we believe the youngest in Wellington Phoenix history, and possibly the youngest named by an A-League side. Headlined by starting goalkeeper Albie Kelly-Heald, a familiar name but a new face. He makes his senior Wellington Phoenix debut alongside his twin, Lucas Kelly-Heald, who is further afield. They become just the 3rd set of A-League's twins. The most recent before that, there's a Wellington Phoenix connection. Assistant coach Adam Griffiths with his brother Joel at the Jets. Scott Wooden is the captain. He leads the side as the only player remaining from the semi-final. As we get set here, Esteban Quintas still awaiting his arrival on the sideline. That's head coach, or assistant coach rather, Agim Sharafovsky. He is known for his late arrivals to the bench, Esteban Quintas, the Argentine. And tonight's referee, Jonathan Barrero, an experienced A-League head, assisted by Henry Day and Nick Elegant. While Jack Morgan is the 4th official this evening. And here is Giancarlo Italiano. The sophomore season for Sheafy, if it's even as half good as season 2023-24, Phoenix fans should be very, very excited. But an interesting test tonight. 9 of his starting 11 tonight are past and present Wellington Phoenix Academy players. As you look at a new look Wellington Phoenix 11, Oscar Van Haddam there is a familiar face, but we'll be introduced to a few new ones tonight as Esteban Quintas has finally arrived. He introduces himself to Giancarlo Italiano, a former Atletico Madrid youth player who was lifting the resplendent Doherty Cup trophy on Saturday afternoon. As we get underway here in Albert Park, I can welcome in a man who is no stranger to South Melbourne, a former NSL champion. We mentioned their glory in the National League. David Clarkson, very familiar with that success. Welcome to you.
Lucky, wonderful to be with you. What a top night here at Lakeside. Clarendon corners up and about, plenty of people in.
people in the house tonight. Many of them, Dave, expected potentially of a cup set, but this Wellington Phoenix side have other ideas. Harvey Lopez is the man who will be looking to keep them out. Spaniard who's spent time on the books of Real Zaragoza and Oviedo in years gone by. Youth systems. He's the Jimmy Mackay medalist on Saturday in that penalty shootout win against the Oakley Cannons. Scott Wooden. Captain's armband duty tonight. He's one of 2 players over the age of 23 alongside Mohamed Altay. Really interesting to see how this Wellington Phoenix side settle themselves into action tonight. There are young players, as we've mentioned, but players who have played a fair bit of football recently. There are 6 Phoenix talents on display at the Olympics. 12 at the recent OFC Under-19 Championships, which New Zealand managed to secure the win in. 4-0 victors against New Caledonia in the final. Which their line leader tonight, Luke Supek, was a 2-time goal scorer. Here's the first touches for Albie Kelly-Heald. Despite their youth, it's been a fairly composed start for the young side.
Keeping the ball well, aren't they, Lockie, at the start there? South looking to push on, playing with those 2 deep-lying midfielders. Obviously, Harrison Sawyer makes himself very busy up front. So they'll be looking to get a really good start here, South. Put some pressure on Wellington.
This is Wellington's first game of pre-season. Haven't even been able to fit in a friendly with all the players away. Olympics, under-19s, OFC tournaments, senior OFC tournaments as well. New Zealand winners in that too. Against the absentees that we see from the senior side tonight, the likes of Alex Rufer and Tim Payne, who have both been rested.
Well, they had a brilliant season, didn't they, last year in the A-League? They've obviously had a big squad turnover. We spoke to Chiefy before the game, the head coach, and he spoke about giving these younger players an opportunity. Great ball in.
South Melbourne.
That's a great ball.
It's going early.
Oh! Harrison.
South Melbourne's captain, fantastic, has them off their feet at Lakeside. It is the perfect start for an NPL outfit looking to upset A-League opposition. And it is the ex-Jet who has South soaring into the lead inside the opening 5 minutes.
There was that ball there. What a stunning pass that was, and a super finish by Harrison Sawyer on the left foot. I tell you what, he's just a goal-scoring machine, this guy. In the air, on the ground, however they come, left, right. It's a super finish. Spoke about a positive start for South Melbourne. Well, they've got exactly that, Lockie. They're 1-0 up after 4 minutes, and that's brilliant. It's exactly what they would have spoke about pre-game for Wellington Phoenix on the back foot. But what a great finish by Harrison Sawyer, and terrific build-up play as well.
It was mostly comfortable in the early knockings for Wellington, but the first real test of that back four, or back three rather, they've come undone. And Harrison Sawyer is a player who, I spoke to Giancarlo Italiano in midweek, he openly admitted Harrison Sawyer is a player I've scouted before. He's got a gravitational pull with all his height, the way he pulls in long balls. And
here he is again.
His scouting was accurate, Chiefy. It is Harrison Sawyer who has undone them inside the opening 5 minutes. And
not to be underestimated, that finish. He let it come across his body with the inside of the left foot back across the goalkeeper, right into the corner of the net. It really was a wonderful finish. You can see his danger. There was a Lampard as well with a long throw. He's dangerous in the box, in the air, but he's talented on the floor as well.
They are without their usual long throw specialist, David Clarkson, in the form of Max Mikola, who was red carded in that Doherty Cup final.
Yeah. Probably deserved it, Lucky.
I would be inclined to agree, but they're making do with the players they've got. Still, the likes of Lampard and Jack Tainter-Andrews on the bench got it in their locker, but how will the Phoenix respond? Sloane Rodriguez, a decent cross. It falls at the back post for Van Hattem. It wasn't a million miles away from a swift response for Wellington. Oscar Van Hattem, who in relative terms is one of the more experienced Phoenix players out there.
Terrific ball. He actually had more time than what he thought, and he rushed it in the end. He'd be disappointed not to at least test Lopez there. He hit through the ball, but just leading back over the bar. Good opportunity for the Knicks.
3 years rather, since Oscar Van Hattem made his Phoenix debut in the round of 32. Probably had some passing knowledge, Dave, to impart to some of the youngsters who are doing that tonight. The likes of Nathan Walker and Albie Kelly-Heald, both making their first Phoenix appearances tonight. I'm sure we'll see a few in the bench where there is plenty of more academy talents to come.
What a great experience for those young guys here, away from home. Good football environment against a good footballing team. They're going to they'll learn on the job tonight, that's for sure.
Ball forward in the direction of Archibald. Sawyer given one to chase. Big Kelly-Heald has had nothing to do yet on his Phoenix debut, but for picking the ball out of the net. A very composed finish from Harrison Sawyer. I expect nothing less from a man who has scored so many goals for South Melbourne across 2 stints now. Broken up by a brief spell in India with Jamshedpur and in Finland too. He's a well-travelled player and a high-quality striker. Now it's the onus on Phoenix to answer back, to avoid a cup set. They've gone out at the round of 32 5 times before. Twice to NPL opposition. Jordan Lampard. It's Lucas Inglese. It's a breakthrough season for him. Scored the winning penalty in the shootout against Oakley.
And they like that one, don't they? They just send the ball forward, then they squeeze up. They don't really look to play out of the back. It's effective. Especially with guys like Harrison Sawyer up front. And if he doesn't get it himself, Lucky, he looks to bring other people into the game as well, which he's very good at.
He tends to draw players in and around him. It's a good ball up the line. Crossed into the middle. Oh, beautiful delivery. And just a whisker away from what would have been a first Phoenix goal for Luke Supek. Beautiful cross from the debutant Nathan Walker. Supek just couldn't connect.
It was a great ball in. I thought it might have been offside initially, but assistant referee kept his flag down. Just watch it here on the replay. There it is. It was a ripping ball in. And he just missed there, and then also on the far post could have been a tap in as well. So another good opportunity for Wellington.
That will be, I think, a sign that these Phoenix players will take a lot of promise out of, Dave.
I think so. Look, they'll have, whilst they haven't got the experience, they'll certainly be looking to impress the manager. They'll have the enthusiasm, and as we saw, there's some quality as well.
Certainly will be some keen eyes on 18-year-old Luke Supek this evening. His older brother Adam, a former Phoenix Academy player, playing in the Central League with Wellington Olympic. He was a debutant in Melbourne last year for the Phoenix round of 16 against City. He did find the back of the net there, and let's not forget there's plenty of time left. He could still, by my mathematics, he'll become the second youngest Wellington Phoenix scorer.
Behind?
Just behind Ben Wayne.
There you go.
Not far behind Ben Wayne, but just behind Ben Wayne.
Well done, Lockie. Well, it's certainly all coming down this right-hand side, isn't it, for Wellington? Nathan Walker involved.
Bit of a surprise starter on the right flank. Young Nathan Walker was only brought across to the Phoenix Academy in March from Fencibles United. He's one of those 12 Phoenix players who were successful at the OFC Under-19 Youth Championship. 4 appearances and 1 goal.
Funnily enough, it's South 1-0 up, but really on the balance of play, Wellington 2 really good chances, probably possessed the ball a little better than South Melbourne.
The temptation is there, isn't it, Dave, as the NPL side, if you take that early lead, and we know South Melbourne in NPL Victoria this season, they have been a rock-solid defensive unit, only 18 goals conceded. You have to, do you give in to that urge to sit back and try and defend what you've got, or do you go for it for more? I mean, it is still 78 minutes plus stoppage to work with.
Look, I think that's the way they play, Lockie. You know, they absorb pressure, then they hit on the counter. And let's not forget that they're 1-0 up now, which they'll be thinking, okay, that's a great start. We're coming off the back of a really great win on Saturday, but it was in extra time penalties, so the legs will obviously get tired as this game goes on. So they'll be trying to conserve as much energy as possible while still being proactive in possession.
Isaac Hughes inside for Finn Conchi. A bit of a hush descends over Lakeside Stadium as the Phoenix continue to probe down the right. And Nathan Walker's promising start a million miles away from continuing. Held up by Lampard. Whistle from Jonathan Barrero despite the protestations of South Melbourne. Marcus Kelly feeds the youngest player in Phoenix history. Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez, a first start for him. Just a second Knicks appearance. Serious talent. Deflected cross. Supek trying forlornly to pick it up, and now Sawyer can work with the ball at feet. It's just launched away by Halfpenny, but it was a bit of contact. And Jonathan Barrero saw exactly what you saw, Dave Clarkson, and didn't like it one bit. An early card dished out by the referee.
It's Halfpenny that copped it. See it here on the replay. Yeah, it just laid across his shin, top of the ankle.
Say, threw the hands up in protestation, but
knowing it was coming.
Only so easy to change the mind of the referee. Well, let's head down to Michael Zapponi on the touchline, who would have had a front row seat to some jubilant bench celebrations after that opening goal for South Melbourne. Zappers, how is it down there?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing down here. I'm right in front of the main grandstand, and David Clarkson will be familiar with the trumpet down here, and that was blowing its tune for sure when the first goal went in. South Melbourne here in great numbers, and a great atmosphere here to help this team along. We spoke about a cup set during the pre-game, and South Melbourne have started brilliantly, just as we expected them to do. And Giancarlo Italiano really vocal on the sidelines, making sure he gets a message out to his young players to ensure that their heads don't drop and they continue to do what he exactly instructed them to do in the pre-game.
And Zappers, as importantly, out of 10 for Suvalaki.
I've just demolished that, Clarkie. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Nice.
10 out of 10.
That's a big call.
There'll be a lengthy queue, you would imagine. A lengthy queue is going to form in front of Jonathan Barrera here.
It's late again, isn't it?
A few feisty challenges. The exuberance of youth, can we call it, Dave?
Yeah, well, that was late on Harrison. Sorry, he just tipped the ball away. And again, just above the ankle. Hopefully he's okay, but he did go down hard. And when he goes down from a height. Just watch it here. Yeah, it was a double. Just a sandwich.
Converged from either direction. Finn Conchi and Isaac Hughes.
Yep.
Conchi seemed to have caught more of the attention as Sloan Rodriguez marches down the right-hand side and turned away by Marko Jankovic. A corner for Wellington Phoenix, who have seriously steadied after the South opener.
It really is wonderful to see these young players getting an opportunity, isn't it? And we're seeing it more and more in the A-League now as the dynamic changes. Seen a number of clubs promote youth players. And not just because they're youth players, because they're good enough. And we're seeing it tonight, some really good talent on display.
Corner to come for the Phoenix. Looping in swinger, punched away by Lopez at the back post, and then a little flick by Mario Barcia. So another corner.
Well,
turning the screw of fraction Phoenix.
He was outstanding on Saturday, wasn't he, Lockie? You were calling the game. He was unbeatable. Some of the saves he was pulling off, and then made a couple of saves in the penalty shootout. What an outstanding goalkeeper. The only thing you could question him on possibly is the crosses, but he did well.
Sheridan's delivery towards the back post. Wooden waiting. And away by Pios. Melbourne City Academy player Emil Pios. First season at South Melbourne for him. Never got to make his A-League men's debut, but was on the bench on 2 separate occasions in 2023. Javi Lopez certainly will provide a stern test for these Phoenix attackers. Back-to-back NPL Victoria Goalkeeper of the Year awards. 11 clean sheets this season, equal most in that competition. And there are a handful of these Phoenix players, Dave, who are already on scholarship contracts and expected to feature in bits and pieces for the A-League campaign that's coming up. But for those youngsters who haven't quite earned that deal yet, tonight is really a massive opportunity to stake your claim in ahead of a league season that, as you mentioned, is only skewing younger.
Yeah, and Chiefy, the head coach, he looks like he wants to give younger players an opportunity. He spoke about it. He says, I have to. We don't have a big budget. We have to produce players. And now, or tonight, is a really great opportunity for those young guys to show what they can do and whether they can be part of the season, A-League season moving forward.
Pios takes the ball in stride and looks to feed Harrison Sawyer. He's got Lucas Kelly-Heald for company, 2 of the tallest players on the field. Going 1-1. And what's the end result? It's a corner for South Melbourne. So Captain Harrison Sawyer will absolutely take that.
Well, he's a lone man there, wasn't he? 1 against 4. Don't really want him out wide, but he's managed to get his team a corner.
Here is that goal again. It was a lovely ball from Pios and easy as you like from Sawyer.
Calm, wasn't it?
And now the South Melbourne corner. Sawyer the target again, knocked away by the Wellington defence.
Offside.
And the offside flag up on the grandstand side. The grandstand that is populated, 2 grandstands here at Lakeside. Great to see a nice corner of yellow as well in that Lakeside grandstand. Travelling and local Phoenix fans.
And a good turnout by the South fans as well.
Good crowd in the house. I'm told that these Phoenix fans met at the Patient Wolf Distillery in South Bank pre-game.
Sure,
proudly owned by Phoenix fan Dave Irwin.
Ah.
Helps to know people, doesn't it?
Does.
Scott Wooden. Great ball for Kelly Heald, setting a task for Sloane Rodriguez, but he's proved himself to be a zippy flyer, the 17-year-old, but that one was perhaps asking a bit too much of the young gun.
Well, they set up like that, don't they, those two wide players? And Walker and Rodriguez stay really wide. Look to get the ball to feet or in behind, and they're super quick, both of them.
It's one of those Phoenix youngsters who is already signed to a pro deal. Scholarship contract back in April, and who was really rated highly. Giancarlo Italiano. Mario Barcia looks to maybe have come off slightly worse for wear. That's looped forward by Archibald. Sawyer makes himself a nuisance. Wellington forced into the clearance. And Van Hatten able to pick up the pieces. He's been probably Phoenix's most impressive player. And he's won a pressure-relieving free kick there with Ross Archibald just on his toes.
Archibald, important player for South. He's really busy in midfield. He helps to. He's really box to box, actually. You saw there he gets forward as well. Into goal scoring positions, looks to link up with the front two.
That was slightly dirtier work from the former Melbourne City player. Yeah, certainly adds oodles of experience and composure into the centre of that South midfield. Made his return from injury in the Doherty Cup final. Phoenix have really taken this game by the scruff. Jankovic away, and Nathan Walker in Phoenix game one, happy to take the corner ball. South set up their defence. They look to stack this penalty area and make life tricky.
Good call, Lockie. It is stacked. Just about every player in the box almost, both teams.
Tough task for Matthew Sheridan to pick out a teammate, but he did.
Just lost the flight of that, didn't he? Yeah. Didn't know whether head it, volley it. Did neither in the end. It was a good opportunity again. Great ball in.
Yeah, the quality of their delivery so far this evening from Wellington Phoenix has been something to behold. It's just been that telling touch that's eluded them so far. They are behind. South Melbourne hoping they can hold on to this and spring a cup set. The second Victorian side to do so, the second NPL side to do so in the round of 32.
Well, they'd be happy with a result like Oakley got, wouldn't they, against Sydney FC? Here they are again, Wellington. You can just see now South they've obviously, the plan is just to sit, absorb the pressure. It's then when they get these opportunities to break forward, they really need to take them. And again, set pieces are going to be really important.
Sheridan. Van Hatten on the right-hand side for the Knicks. They've really looked to exploit that left flank and make Jordan Lampard's life difficult. Sloane Rodriguez looking to drive at his defenders and floats in a tantalising ball in the Walker direction, but that one well left by Jordan Lampard. So the thumb up of appreciation from Nathan Walker. It wasn't the worst idea, but the end result is a Javi Lopez goal kick, taken short by South. Intriguing opening 25 minutes here at Lakeside. South Melbourne, a goal to the good, courtesy of Harrison Sawyer's opener inside the first 5 minutes. The South fans have re-found their voice. That pass hasn't found its target.
Slipped off the tee. Over his head. But they look for that one, don't they? That long switch or the diagonal. Certainly part of their tactics, South Melbourne.
There they are, flags flying. The South fans, they've enjoyed themselves so far. They will be enjoying themselves even more if the full-time whistle were to sound now, but plenty of football still to be played. I'm sure there are many viewers on 10 Play, but particularly the ones who are watching on Football Australia YouTube over in New Zealand that will be hoping that the plenty of time that remains will be time in which Wellington Phoenix find their route back into the contest. Taken away by Altay.
Just on like that, Lockie, it's just great to have nights like this. This is why this competition is so good. It's, you know, it just gives clubs like South Melbourne and all MPL clubs, in fact, just the opportunity to have big nights. So it's not just for the players, it's about the club as well, about the supporters. You know, and there's supporters here that would have supported this club for 50 plus years. So nights like this are really special.
Absolutely. And they could mark it with a special victory. Wellington looking to change that. Sloan Rodriguez has become an ever more tricky presence for the South defence to deal with.
Yeah, he's starting to literally find his feet, isn't he? They're giving him the ball now. He's good on the dribble. It's causing a few problems for the South defence.
He was only on the field for a handful of minutes when he made his debut off the bench against Melbourne City in March. I'm sure there will be many watching on who will be really excited to see a good 45 minutes plus of him. As the corner comes in, it's a deep ball. Eventually South conspire to clear. Wellington keep it alive. Van Hattem able to loop it high, up and under, into the air.
Tell you what, Van Hatten's done brilliantly there. He's hurt himself. He's gone into the advertising boards. Hopefully he's okay. Done ever so well to keep that in.
Back to his feet, thankfully, but you can see the grimace on his face. Not the kind
How
of...
he's managed to hook that up. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Oh, not the kind of commitment to the cause that tickles, hey? It doesn't tickle, rather. Kelly Heald has building a nice passing partnership with Sloan Rodriguez. How great is it to see the two twins out there tonight, finally. We've seen them at senior level in the Central League for Phoenix Reserves, but in the A-League side proper, really, really exciting stuff. Only the third set of A-League twins to play in the same 11 together. I understand, according to Andy Howe, as we take another look at that free kick, won by, guess who, Oscar Van Hattem.
After he's just peeled himself off the floor in the advertising boards, goes one-on-one, gets him to a really dangerous position. This.
No rest for the wicked. A nice angle for South to work with. They've got a one-man wall for Wellington to work with. Sheridan leaves it for Kelly Heald. Decent shape on the ball, but the end result the same. Away, Conchi. Find a work around the South defence.
Great ball in. You're right, Lucky. Beautiful shape on it. It was Jankovic that got it away.
Kelly Heald, who took the free kick across for a very long throw. Sawyer up but not away. Wellington having a bit of a half-field game at the moment. Conchi couldn't get it through traffic. Pios cleverly back and wins a throw in for South. Esteban Quintas has already clocking up the miles in his technical area. He's one of the most colourful characters in Victorian football, Dave.
Yeah, he certainly he is a cat in a hot tin roof in that technical area. They must have to re-turf every technical area that he goes in, because he just doesn't stop. He's certainly he's a man that has plenty of passion, and he's a very successful coach.
He's risen through the ranks here at South Melbourne.
Well respected, Lockie, by the players and the fans. And not everybody's cup of tea the way he plays the football, but it's effective. The players know what the system is, and they play to that system.
We saw Giancarlo Italiano consulting his notebook a few moments ago there, Dave. What notes do you think he's making on the basis of the opening half hour?
I think he'd be pretty happy, wouldn't he? I mean, obviously not with a scoreline, but certainly with the way his team's played. His young players certainly haven't gone into their shells, and I think he'd be quite happy. Still 15 minutes to go this half.
From Spiteri. Walton clears. Jankovic top of the box. It's a bit of a scramble of legs. And Conchi can only clear momentarily. Spiteri's touch was a heavy one, but South retrieve it on the second phase. Walker, I'd say, was strong in the face of a stiff challenge from Barcia. The South numbers have come back very quickly, but Wellington continuing to ask the question, hoping to pick gaps.
Oh, that's
another firm slide. Jordan Lampard points to the ball, which is swiftly rolling away onto the blue athletics track.
There was no appeal, was there, really, from the Wellington players?
No, but
the referee was not that interested.
Stretch challenge. It was one that sent Oscar Van Hatten back to the turf again. Great ball over the top, but
just offside.
Just bounced unkindly for a man in Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez, who was offside anyway. 20.8 years, the average age in this Phoenix starting 11. They have absolutely smashed their previous youngest 11, which was back in the Australia Cup a couple of years ago against Western United. 22.07 back in the round of 32 against Western. The likes of Ollie Sale, Louis Fenton. Oscar Van Hatten is the only familiar face in that lineup. The kids, despite the scoreline, have been not half bad for the Phoenix. To the night sky. Sawyer is making himself a handful. And Archibald scraps to try and retrieve possession for South. It's going to be a free kick in the end, and a bit of a boil over here on the opposite side. Wellington Phoenix and South players converge. Emil Pios is the man on the table, or on the turf.
It was all very ugly there, wasn't it? Crash and bash for 30 seconds. It's ended up with Pios on the floor. There's something the Wellington Phoenix players didn't like. Just see it here. Harrison Sawyer's involved.
Maybe a tunneling issue on Harrison Sawyer, perhaps.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Oh, that might have been that one there. Archibald with a late tackle was all happening. Wasn't the prettiest of football.
They are I think, a side, Dave, who take a lot of inspiration from the passion and flair of their Argentine manager, in that the challenges, the commitment on the football is full-blooded, and as you can see there, Isaac Hughes was responding in kind on Emil Pios, who is still on the turf over on the far side for South, and
so
some discomfort.
Looked a bit nasty, actually.
They have played a lot of football in recent times, South Melbourne, as they've managed league and cup commitments. This is their second game in the space of 7 days. his haunches. Wellington have dominated the territory battle so far.
Yeah, it's probably as we thought, isn't it, really, 65-35. And it's been good possession as well, in good areas. As we said earlier, some really good opportunities for Wellington to score. Early crosses in the box. They've been good on the set pieces.
65% possession, but this is the moment so far that counts. Harrison Sawyer, South's goal scorer extraordinaire, getting it done again. His goal record for South Melbourne is just something to behold. If you average it out, his appearances against his goals, he scores every 122 minutes that he plays for South.
How do you know that, Lockie?
I can't answer that. I can't answer that question. A magician, secrets, they never reveal them.
Oh, you need to get a life. No, it's a wonderful scoring record. And
well, that's a great ball over the top for Luke Subek. His touch just escaped him at the crucial moment. He's frustrated with that one, is the Wellington youngster.
It was a great ball in. He was running at speed. It's a difficult one, just on the half volley. He tried to cushion it. It was just heavy in the end. But they have knocked some great balls in the box. But just on Harrison Sawyer, you just wonder, obviously at this level he's a goal scorer. You wonder, he's obviously had a chance at A-League level. He's obviously been overseas, but you would think that an A-League club would pick him up, because he is a goal scorer and he's going to be dangerous really wherever he plays.
It's been some time since he was sighted at A-League's level. 17-18 season, just 5 appearances for the Newcastle Jets. He's a well-travelled player, though. I mentioned his stints in India and Finland as well, but spent time in Hong Kong, the Philippines. Earlier in his career, he's in Brazil too, so 6 countries total. It's a decent innings for a man who is still only 27 years of age.
Well, yes, yeah, so you would say he's coming into his prime now, so I'm sure Nick Marcoussis, the South Melbourne president, wouldn't be keen to hear us talking about him leaving and wanting him to be staying.
It's Isaac Hughes. For the Phoenix, wearing a new number this season, 15. So have a look at the incident that sent him to the floor. It's a number that he wears in honour of one of his defending icons in Nemanja Vidic. He swapped from 15 to 26 after the 15 was vacated by the departure of Nicholas Pennington to Perth Glory. His previous number, 26. It's Nemanja Vidic's number at Spartak, so really a big Nemanja Vidic fan, Isaac Hughes.
Absolutely, that's crazy.
Mohamed Al-Tay. Centrally for Conchi. Kelly Heald. A man wearing a famous number, the 18, formerly of Ben Sigmund fame in the Wellington ranks. Been easy on the eye. Giancarlo Italiano's side in possession tonight. They need to make it count on the scoreboard sooner rather than later. How desperately, Dave, do you attack that equalising goal if you're the Phoenix? Well, let's find out. Sheridan nods it forward, but to no avail. Not harmlessly for South, but do you want to get that equaliser in the final 5 minutes plus stoppage of this first half that remains, or are you not putting that sort of mental pressure on yourself?
No, I don't think so. They'd be happy to score, obviously, before half-time. But again, like I said, I think they'd be happy with their performance. And balls like that, you know, they're picking their pass. Some are a little overhit, but they'll get their opportunities. It'll just be that moment to take it. So they won't be rushing things. They've obviously really pegged South Melbourne back. South were playing with a back 6 in that last phase, so you know that's the pressure they're under at the moment. And there we go again. Brilliant, actually.
They have racked up their fair share of 1-0 scorelines this season across 18 wins in NPL Victoria. And it's easier said than done trying to keep Wellington Phoenix goalless, especially when the signs, at least in drips and drabs, half chances, have certainly been there for them. Supek, I thought he'd run out of real estate there. Eventually he does.
Yeah. He's been impressive as well. Nathan Walker has just absolutely worked his socks off in and out of possession. Really talented young player. Looks nice on the ball. Gets involved with a contest. The pressure on that last play was really good.
Forward in search of Sawyer. Over his head, but the second ball that initially fell kindly for Archibald. Just feel a bit bereft of ideas in attack South Melbourne at the moment.
The problem they've got, Lockie, is they're working so hard out of possession when they get it. Sending it forward is really only Harrison Sawyer there on his own, which makes things very difficult.
It's another good ball over the top for Sloan Rodriguez. I think the Bronx cheers from the South Melbourne faithful just about say it all.
Oh, he's right in front of Clarendon corner there. Just on that though, just Harrison's so far up, and then the gap between the midfield to him to try and get there quickly, they're really struggling to do that. So it makes the field is stretched, so they're not really playing to their strengths. Let's have a look at this one. There we go, 3 forward now.
More players forward, but the same result. It's back in possession of Wellington Phoenix. How valuable do those... Obviously, Wellington have got a pocket of away supporters, but it's mostly a partisan crowd tonight, Dave. How important do those South Melbourne fans become in helping the home side to find a potential extra gear that might be needed? You would know. You've played for them in years gone by.
It makes a big difference, obviously, when they talk about the 12th man. But I think, like us at the moment, it's almost the South fans are quiet, subdued, waiting for something to happen. Are we just soaking up pressure? Are we going to cop a sucker punch? Can we get forward and create? I'd like to see South push on a little bit now and take the game a little bit to Wellington, because the longer this goes on, the more chance, obviously, Wellington getting an equaliser. And it's not like South are creating opportunities. They're not getting the corners, really free kicks to create problems for the Wellington defence. They're very comfortable back there.
They have the lead, but had it all their own way in this first half, as they look to secure victory against A-League opposition for the first time in their history. It's been a very long time since a side from New Zealand came to Lakeside, since the days of football kings in the NSL. Pios scoops it in the Sawyer direction, catching practice for Kelly Heald. Albie, that is. It'd be a big problem if it was catching practice for Lucas. There's our cues to Lucas Kelly Heald. Conchi has been energetic in the centre of midfield for the Knicks. So he'll make his senior Phoenix debut in the opening round of last season in the Isuzu Ute A-League against the Wanderers. Got a task ahead of them to pick a South Melbourne defence that is very tightly locked down at the moment. There is not a lot of space in between those defensive and midfield lines. Enterprising pass though for Sheridan, who buys himself a yard, puts it into a decent area, and just past the reach of Sloan Rodriguez. Second take from Kelly Heald. That one not quite as tantalising as the initial cross from Sheridan, and it was Sloan Rodriguez at the back post who will look to get himself one more chance in the 2 minutes of time that have been added on by fourth official Jack Morgan. It just has been a a half of flashes and maybes for the Knicks so far.
Yeah, it has, but they have had their opportunities. They'll be pleased with that. Obviously, they'd love to take one. But as we said, South aren't really hurting them at the other end.
It would be loving life if they could find that insurance policy in the final 120 seconds, South, but Diaz was coming back from an offside position. Maybe there's one last attack in this half for the Phoenix. Walker, agile was Lopez, and was able to cover off the danger presented, or otherwise presented, by Oscar Van Hattem. As we turn our attention to the second half as well, Dave, the young players will potentially continue to filter off the pine, but it would be remiss of us not to mention that there are two blockbuster names for the Knicks as well.
A bit of quality there.
Costa Barbarouses and Marco Rojas, their names loom large potentially in the second 45.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure they'll be eager to get some game time. As would on the other side Andy Brennan, who's linked up really well, as we've seen throughout the season, and on Saturday in the Doherty Cup final with Harrison Sawyer. So Andy will be a big impact player for South Melbourne at some point in the second half.
Sheridan wraps his boot around the ball, away only as far as the top of the box, where Conchi can't do anything. Van Hattem couldn't either. We head to half-time with the NPL side in the ascendancy against A-League's opposition. All thanks to that man, Harrison Sawyer. It's his goal inside the opening 5 minutes that has South Melbourne staring down the barrel of a potential cup set. But plenty of football still to be played here at Lakeside Stadium. The halftime score, South Melbourne 1, Wellington Phoenix 0.
Banned from attending future matches. Mini Roos is a fun introduction to football for girls and boys aged 4 to 11. It's a great way to learn football skills and have fun with your friends. Register with your local club today to play football at www.miniroos.com.au. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the SMFC under-11s and under-12 as they enter the arena for half-time.
Well, Harrison Sawyer is a happy man right now. 45 minutes stand between his South Melbourne side and a potential cup set against A-League's opposition. It would be just the 15th in the history of the comp, which is celebrating a decade in existence. But Wellington Phoenix will have something to say about that in the second 45. Welcome to the halftime show where the South fans are keeping themselves warm here at Albert Park at the break. And they'll be looking to will their side onto a big result. But right now, David Clarkson, with 45 minutes to play, Wellington have it all to do, but the signs are there that they could do it.
Yeah, look, it's a chess match at the moment, isn't it? A bit of an arm wrestle. Certainly Wellington in possession have been really good, but we're just wild about Harry, aren't we? What a great finish that was. And then it's that set the tone for the game. Early goal, South sit back, absorb pressure. But unlike the South we know, they weren't that dangerous on the counter-attack. So it allowed Wellington to get more into the game. The young players started to possess the ball, look a little more dangerous. As we said, I think Wellington going into the half-time, they'll be pretty pleased.
Well, they will be pleased, but they weren't particularly happy about this moment. What a finish this was from Harrison Sawyer. And the lead-up play from South Melbourne was very pleasing on the eye, Dave.
Yeah, we missed it. There was a cross that came in as well. The ball went out the back. But the way Harrison just let the ball come across his body, rather than take it on the right foot, which he could have done, he just let it come across himself, which is wrong-footed the goalkeeper. Then put it back across with a wonderful finish into the far corner. And as you've said throughout the call, Lockie, he's just a goal-scoring machine, and he scores for fun. Even in his sleep, he's scoring goals. So brilliant for South Melbourne.
His 21st goal in all competitions for South this season. It's the telling one after 45 minutes played, and you can see there hasn't been too much to split the sides in terms of chance creation, but Wellington really have dominated the possession so far in this game. And they've had a lot of chances, Dave, where it's not necessarily reflected on the actual shot count, right? A lot of the ball, a lot of flashes, but not many that have materialised in a shot. That's something they need to dial in the second half. Yeah,
again, they will get their opportunities, but you're dead right, Lockie. Some balls have been whipped across the 6-yard box where they've got a toe on but haven't managed to get the ball on target. There was an opportunity that the ball was hit over the bar. I can't remember who it was, but, you know, they've had their chances. They'll get more. I think for South Melbourne, the fact that they're 1-0 up is obviously a great thing, but there's still more that they can bring to this game. And I think the manager will be saying at half-time, look, let's hold on to what we've got, but we have to look more dangerous in possession.
We have to look more dangerous in possession. Wellington Phoenix will be hoping that they can thwart that threat and look to build on these first-half chances. This was a chance for them to break back early through Oscar Van Hatten, probably their biggest of the first half.
Well, we spoke about it, didn't he? He had more time than he thought. Here's another great opportunity. Brilliant ball in by Walker. Oh. Yeah, it was a fantastic ball in, and it was Sufky just couldn't quite get his toe on it.
This was a swing and a miss from Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez. Really, that is microcosmic, Dave, of the half that they had. So close, but, you know, on those final moments, those finishing chances, they have just been so far. Great to see the South youngsters enjoying themselves out here on the Lakeside pitch. I know you have a big hand in that, Dave, but it is the young stars of Wellington who are hoping to turn this tie around. Is there a particular youngster who you maybe turn your eye to in this second half to try and flip the script, or is it maybe looking at the bench options where the likes of Marco Rojas, last season's Player of the Year in Costa Barbarouses, really jump off the page?
Yeah, I think, as we said, you know, that he'd be really happy, Chiefy, with what's gone on in that first half, but he has got the likes of Barbarouses and Rojas to come on. So, again, he'd be disappointed that they're 1-0 down, but he'd be comfortable thinking we can get ourselves back in this game, and we've got the power on the bench. Whether they come on at half time or during the second half, let's see.
Well, it'll be the third cup set that they've suffered in the history of the tournament. Will they avoid it, Dave? Are you courageous enough to cast a prediction before we head to the break?
My heart says South and my head says South as well, Lockie. So I'm going with South Melbourne. I can't tell you the score, but I'm sure they're going to get through.
Well, make of that what you will if you're watching on at home. I'm sure there will be many that hope that Dave Clarkson is proved wrong in the second half, as Wellington Phoenix will look to get back into this one. There have been plenty of promising flashes, but still work to do. We'll be back with the second 45 on the other side of the break.
Yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Recording. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah? Yes, I've got Sam Pudakides here, currently the under-23 coach here. Sam, of course, former South Melbourne player as well. You must be pretty pleased with the way the boys have started.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's good to see the team really playing to their strengths. Got out and got an early goal and been able to really sustain, the pressure, and they haven't really been able to create many chances. And it's good to see a lot of our under-23s getting opportunities. One starting today, a lot of them on the bench. So it's a great occasion for them and the club. It's great to be back on the national stage. And
we hear South always talking about wanting to be back on the national stage. You're on it tonight, and looks like you're right at home.
Definitely, yeah. I think we deserve to be, and it does look. I mean, the crowd's great. There's been a big build-up. We've got our mini roos out there playing as well, so it's a great occasion, and the club's really done a lot to really promote the game.
You've had a great career at South Melbourne, continuing it, so well done for that. But I do remember one incident when I commentated a game on radio many, many years ago. It's probably 20 years ago now.
Oh, yeah,
Tell us what happened at half-time. It was a final against Adelaide United.
It was, and everything was going to script until the final whistle went, and I think I just lunged down. I put a little tackle in, and unfortunately, I think it was a South Australian referee decided it was a red card. Kind of lent the game in their favour.
And you lost.
We did lose, yeah.
And
I haven't heard the last of that for many, many years.
No, well done. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your support. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Sam.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Great to see you. I'll see you.
45 minutes to play. So much still to play for in this round of 32 tie, in which Wellington Phoenix have it all to do, but they only need to do it once to get back into the contest. It is this South Melbourne side leading 1-0, and it is that man who has them in front, Harrison Sawyer. A 21st goal of the season in all competitions for the NPL Victoria Flyer, has his side on course for their first ever win against an A-League's outfit. But make no mistake, this Wellington Phoenix side, who at kickoff at an average age of just 20.8 years, will have plenty to say about it. So too will Giancarlo Italiano and his assistant Adam Griffiths, who are in quorum as to how to attack this second half. South Melbourne sprung a substitution to bring us in to the second 45. Jack Painter-Andrews, who started in the Doherty Cup final, enters the field in place of Zach Spiteri. As the second half gets underway, we get to answer the fascinating question of which direction this tie will turn. Will it be cup set jubilation for South in front of their home faithful, or will the Phoenix pull it out of the fire? It's a really good question to be able to answer with a half of football still to come. Potentially more, Dave Clarkson. Let's not write the script before it's finished.
Potentially. It could be here. It could be a long night. Well, you had a long day on Saturday, so it could be a long night. Another one for you. Sign the overtime book, Lockie.
They are used to marathon football, South Melbourne. They played 120 minutes in penalties in the Doherty Cup.
Here's a long one.
They do it on the national stage. And they'll do their long throw, and it is a confident claim. The 196 centimetre flat frame of Albie Kelly Heald soaring through. And you were talking, Dave Clarkson, in the first half about the aerial prowess or maybe a slight deficiency in that from Harvey Lopez. No such issues for Albie Kelly Heald. Wow.
Well, he takes the guesswork out of that, doesn't he? Just comes and claims it over the top of Harrison Sawyer. Lovely take. It's good for his defence to know that keeper can come and claim those ones.
Here is his twin brother Lucas. According to Stato, Andy Howe, in Australian domestic and national cup history, so all the way back to 1977, just the 6th pair of twins to play together in close to 50 years, so it really is a remarkable sight to see them both out there on the field together. So that's an enterprising cross, but whisked away by Marko Jankovic.
He's had a few of those tonight, Jankovic, hasn't he?
He's been an important figure. He has form for knocking Wellington out of the cup. He's his winner for the Bentley Greens back in 2018. Almost 6 years to the day since that fateful evening at Kingston Heath. Shouldn't forget the New Zealand National League as well. And the infamous pair of twins, Tom and Dan Schwartz at Kashmir Technical. Never at league level for the Phoenix. Jankovic again. In the way. Wellington will knock it around the back. And we have to start to wonder, as we head down to the halfway line where Michael Zapponi is waiting, whether or not Zappers went for round 2 at the Souvlaki stand halftime. Zappers, just did you limit yourself just to the one, or have you gone double bubble? How is it there on the halfway line?
Now come on, gents. I'm an athlete. You know, I try and keep myself fit, just like David Clarkson. And
you must be tucking into round 2. We'll check in with Michael Zapponi in a second as the Phoenix saunter forward.
Jankovic again. Unbelievable.
Middle is Ross Archibald. Archibald would ask the question of Jack Painter-Andrews, but it's a task to which he is equal. And the cross into the middle is nipped in the bud by the Phoenix defence. Sloan Rodriguez for Nathan Walker, who has really impressed so far, Dave, on his Wellington Phoenix debut.
He's been really excellent, hasn't he? He's just been busy with the ball, works hard out of possession. Yeah, he's been really impressive, young man.
Isaac Hughes to Kelly Heald. A lovely lofted ball for the 18-year-old Luke Supek, who is going to look over his right shoulder. Putting out a hand in frustration, because that looked a pretty tight one, Dave.
Yeah, it did. Just watch it here on the replay. It's a good little ball in. Yeah, that did look tight. Certainly the assistant referee had a better view of that than we did.
It's the kind of angled dink ball that has been necessary for them tonight, Dave. They've made that middle of the field so stacked. They've made their defensive line so tight that you've really seen that sort of, can you call it? It's not quite a full diag, but certainly
yeah. It's a Zoran Matic parabola. Lucky. Going back to the 80s. He was the master.
I like it. Well, Oscar Van Haddam was a player who spent probably more time on the turf than any other in the opening 45, and I think he just said to the South Melbourne player, have a taste of your own medicine. Certainly.
Now that's a diag, Lucky.
It's definitive, but not effectual. Archibald.
Some hands in the back.
I'll say it was carded early into the first half. An entertaining off-season, Mohamed Al-Tay. He made his international debut for Iraq. Which has been a long-time dream of his. His parents from there in the 1990s, and been dreaming of playing for the senior national side ever since their Asian Cup win back in 2007. So good to finally realise a long-term dream. Similar story to what South Melbourne are aiming for this evening. We have tried and failed to knock off A-League's opposition before in the Australia Cup. It's their fourth time on the national stage. They've been knocked aside fairly comfortably the other two times they've taken on professional outfits. 5-1 in that semi-final in the driving rain against Sydney FC back in 2017.
Oh, that's a great ball.
Delightful ball. Emil Pios is the man who gives chase. Can't pull it in. It's comfortable work. In the end, the far side of the Phoenix defence.
And that's where South can be dangerous. It was a super ball, wasn't it? It was a Tainter Andrews with a brilliant ball. Just couldn't quite get on the end of it, but much better by South. When they play that counter-attacking football at speed, it's when they can look dangerous.
It was his opposing number 27 in Matthew Sheridan, who really had to make sure his body was in the right position.
Yep.
To thwart the advances of Emil Pios. Hughes sauntering forward out of the centre of defence. Cooper Halfpenny has been busy on his South Melbourne return. Former Leganés youngster, Nathan Walker. I'd say double deflection, unkind for Matthew Sheridan. And Sawyer really is the lone hand. He's been shown where to head by Scott Wooden. Certainly not moving his thoughts and his feedback with the referee under any disguise. It was a firm but fair challenge.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
That's the other time South faced an A-League side in the Australia Cup. It was their last entrance into the Australia Cup 2021. A 3-0 defeat to South Melbourne. Only 4 players remaining from that side. This is certainly, there's still plenty of football to be played, but as close as they've come. It's the first time they lead against an A-League side, and they look to double their advantage here. Tainter Andrews. Sends it into the hot spot. Sawyer chesting, controlling, and so close to scoring a second. Well, everything good that has happened in attack for South Melbourne tonight, it has happened at the feet of Harrison Sawyer, and Albie Kelly-Heald would have been cutting a nervous figure as he dived to his right to stop this one.
Yeah, there it is again. Taylor Andrews, lovely little touch, and the volley, side volley on the swerve. Well, it looked like it might have just been nestling in the bottom of the net. Lovely technique by Harrison Sawyer. Great opportunity. South coming into it a little bit now in the second half.
Game stretching a fraction. Might suit the NPL side.
Oh.
Harrison Sawyer just couldn't get his feet sorted. It's not always easy as when you're as tall as he is. Big Harry. He's back on the ball here. Sawyer looked to do it himself once again. Harrison Sawyer for South Melbourne.
It's hit the post.
Off the post and off the back of Albie Kelly-Heald. South Melbourne have flipped the switch after 10 minutes played in the second half. Two glorious chances in quick succession, and the Phoenix will set themselves the defender corner.
Let's have a look at this on the replay. Takes it on the left-hand side. Two defenders covering. Smashes it low to the near post. You're right, Lockie. Off the post, onto the back of Kelly head. Nearly off his head and in the back of the net. But we spoke about it. They're just starting to come into it, South. Two really good opportunities to that man, Harrison Sawyer.
Clarendon corner find their voice as the corner comes in to the night air, to the top of the box. Barcia can hit them. Elects not to. Sawyer has the ball not necessarily where he'd want it to be. Wrapped in by Archibald at the back post. It was a half chance for Emil Pios, who throws his head to the heavens. He's not best pleased that he couldn't get a more convincing connection of that delivery.
He might have been a bit unsighted.
Starting to build a better case for not just being in the lead, but doubling their advantage. South Melbourne. This patch of Wellington Phoenix possession might just give us a chance to head back down to Michael Zapponi, who I understand has finished his second souvlaki now. Zappers, was it just as good as the first?
No, there's no truth to that rumour. There's only one. David Clarkson and I look after our bodies as athletes.
Zappers.
Look, what's like tonight? Euros on the spit. I can't blame him. I can't blame him.
Wow.
I just hope there's some left for me by the time the full-time whistle blows. That's all.
He's taken the Suva over speaking to us. Disappointing.
We'll be doing a rip-roaring trade this evening. Souvlaki sales. 1959 Bar and Grill will be a buzz with chatter, as I'm sure it was pre-game, Dave Clarkson.
Yep, and I heard, look, here's a stat for you. 60 kilos of souvlaki, I think.
There you go.
That was what I heard.
That is a gargantuan figure.
The semi-trailers were backed up this afternoon.
They'll be in the there'll be grams left, nothing more by the time the night is out. Particularly if South Melbourne pull off a famous win, and you can see it's not the queue, but it's certainly a line of a phalanx of happy customers against the fence. It's one of the joys of the Australia Cup. To enjoy the chance for a bit of a food safari offside the beaten track. Well, that's a decent ball. Lopez was agile. The offside flag was up anyway, so the touch from Oscar Van Hattem would have counted for naught. It was a tight intervention from Lopez as well, right on the top of his penalty box. I've been interested to see how things happen had the offside flag not gone up against Oscar Van Hattem. How did this Phoenix side find a second gear here, Dave? Because They were the better side, I think, in the opening 45 despite the goal, but South have started to give them a fair bit more to think about as the game has become a little bit more stretched in the second half.
This is Barbarouses and Rojas, I would think. If I'm Giancarlo, I'm looking to the bench pretty soon just to give this young side just a little bit of a spark, because they've dropped off, and as we said, South are getting back into it, creating chances. So it might just take those two guys to come into the game.
There's a few numbers forward here if he wants to angle something in. Instead, elects for the right-hand side. Sloan Rodriguez. Another swing and a miss from him. Just putting himself in decent positions. What have you made of the young 17-year-old's first start in a Phoenix shirt so far?
He's been good. He's obviously still learning the game. Just positions like that, as you said, he's getting himself into them, which is half the battle, and then it's about executing. Well, that was a tough one, but yeah, he's looked impressive tonight.
Wharton to Kelly Heald. The handful of young Knicks players who are already signed to a scholarship deal for the upcoming season. For an upcoming number of seasons in the case of Albie. Until the end of the 26-27 season. Exactly the same length as his, the exact same time as his twin brother Lucas's contract will be up to. To freshen a route back into the contest. Kelly Heald and Conchi combine. Now Sloan Rodriguez. So, risky ball into the middle, and the touch was a solid one from Mohamed Altay.
Just looking at the South bench there, Lockie. Could be time for Andy Brennan. My eyes don't deceive me. To make his appearance.
Looks like it might be time for two for Esteban Quintas, and it's a bit of a surprise substitution. Harrison Sawyer, who is going to be the hero of the day should the full-time whistle sound at this scoreline, and has been close to doubling his advantage in the second half, makes his way in place of Andy Brennan. Noel Bernarda is the other player who's going to come on. No stranger to the national stage, the Argentine Noel Bernarda. He was a scorer at the round of 32 stage back in 2021 for Hume City, in place of Ross Archibald. Bernarda, who did come off with injury in the Doherty Cup final. Archibald returned from injury in the final, but it is a bit of a surprise, despite the loading, to see Harrison Sawyer make his way off the field, Dave. Yeah, that's a really strange one, and he's okay. I thought he wasn't too pleased at the start, but he looks like it maybe was a planned move to get him off, but really a player, and he's had two great chances in this second half, and for me, you're just leaving him up as high up the pitch as you can, because he's going to be dangerous, and he works really well, as we said, with Andy Brennan, so something we probably don't know in regards to how he's feeling, but yeah, interesting one. Well, that's a really interesting change of dynamic for South. It'll totally manipulate the way that they play. Looks like Brennan's gone to the, Brennan's gone to just a straight swap with Harrison Sawyer. Kelly Heald's early ball. Lopez second-guessed himself, and Nathan Walker was lurking at the back stick with intent. Lampard's done really well there, actually, just to let that skim off the top of his head, because he was under immense pressure. He didn't know what was coming behind him. He's given away a corner, but did well under the circumstances. It's another nice early ball from the Phoenix. 4,196 announced in the house. And that little corner of yellow, you could just pick him on the right-hand side of your screen before. Will be up and about if this corner could come to something, but it wasn't to be. It was a poor delivery in truth, a bit of a fizzler in the end. Yeah. From Kelly Heald. Well, the South Melbourne officials would be pleased with that, Lockie. Just over 4,000 on a Tuesday night.
So there's the appetite for the big game, certainly here at South Melbourne. And if they get a result, getting to the last 16, well, just the momentum builds, doesn't it?
Certainly does. They set the record for, along with Preston, for the biggest crowd in a Australia Cup preliminary round game. Over 6,000 at BT Connor a few months back.
Great night that was.
It's another fantastic night for a storied football club. They could be writing another chapter in their history book this evening. This is the first time in 3 attempts that they have led an A-League side. They've only scored once against one before this. Indianapolis pulled one back against Sydney, who went on to add 3 more thereafter. This has been a very different game to that one. And not just because it hasn't been absolutely bucketing down with rain like it was at that night at Lakeside.
Yeah, it was a horrible night.
Looks as though we are going to get a Phoenix substitution shortly. And it is a big one in the offing.
Marco?
Not quite. I'll answer it in a second, though. Sloan Rodriguez was looking real menacing down the left. It's not Marco Rojas, not a long-awaited return for the A-League's great. There is another. Costa Barbarouses ready to come on. Might be another sub stripped off as well.
I think that's Marco.
Might be the long-awaited return for which Phoenix fans will be hotly anticipating. I think I might even spot 3 yellow shirts over in that technical area. So Giancarlo Italiano is about to push in the chips.
Yep.
And will that time be now? The answer is yes. So the first substitute is their reigning player of the season, their top scorer from last season, Costa Barbarouses, will look to inject the goals, and a much needed one for Wellington. Fergus Gillian, another one of the young players who made his debut for the Phoenix in Melbourne last year in the round of 16, will enter the fray. And it is a first appearance in Phoenix colours in 13 years, 5 months and 20 days for Marco Rojas. He is finally home. He is the place where his career started, when he was a recipient of the fan-funded Retro Ricky Scholarship. Helped him start his career, but the prodigal son is finally back in yellow and black. It's great to see.
And we've just had a smoke signal from Michael Zatoni, Lockie. He said he's spoken to Big Harrison, so he's okay. He's had a really big load, and they've got Avondale coming up this weekend. So games coming thick and fast, all with a lot of meaning.
That was a great ball for Barbarouses. Painter Andrews repels, and still got 23 minutes to play in this game, but it feels like it is still oh so open.
Yeah.
The combination of that Harrison Sawyer substitution, and great to hear that it isn't injury enforced. And great to hear that Zappers is still okay, hasn't entered a food coma. But the combination of that, along with 3 big names, or 2 big names, and an exciting young talent for the Phoenix, just feel this game has got a few more twists to come in the time that remains. Joined behind by Painter Andrews for a Wellington corner. That'll be Marco Rojas straight off the bench and onto corner duties. No, Matt Sheridan is going to retain his place as the corner taker for now. Sheridan's delivery away at the first time of asking the South Melbourne defence. Bernardo.
Well done.
Great use of the body by Pios. That was really clever to thwart the advances of Marco Rojas. And now Brennan will get on his bike. It's Isn't the most convincing of touches from Isaac Hughes, but Fergus Gilligan was across to pick up the pieces. Nathan Walker has retained his place on the right-hand side for the Phoenix. Start to soak up a bit of pressure now, South. You get the feeling Wellington will throw the kitchen sink. Still so much to come in this round of 32 tie, and we might see if it is third time's the charm. Michael Zapponi, what have you got for us down on the touchline? I might come back to you though in a second as Barbarouses has a pop, but it's back in the arms of Javi Lopez, and we will, at the second time of asking, head down to Michael Zapponi.
Yeah, thanks, gents. I was going to say I am an athlete. There's no threes of luckies for me, so just the one tonight, which was magnificent. Now, I wanted to talk about Marco Rojas and Costa Barbarouses. They can really make a difference in this last 20 minutes. Two outstanding players, two outstanding careers in the A-League men's competition. And we saw Costa Barbarouses have an outstanding season last year for the Wellington Phoenix. Great to see Marco Rojas back. They've only had 2 weeks at training though, so that's the reason why we haven't seen them on the park until now, but they can really change things from here for the Wellington Phoenix.
Great ball over the top, thanks Zappers. Yes, certainly Costa Barbarouses and Marco Rojas, the two big fish off the bench, looking to get on the end of this delivery, but that is into the grateful arms of Javi Lopez.
You just feel a bit of a shift already, can't you? Certainly with Costa Barbarouses, he's going to be really dangerous. He's gone into that number 9 position, always plays on the shoulder of the last defender. Looking to get in behind, as he has done already on a couple of occasions.
He's a great scorer of Australia Cup goals. I mean, he's just a great scorer of goals generally, is Costa Barbarouses, but 7 in the Cup. The equal 9th highest scorer. And they'll be looking to give that XG tally a bit of a bump. They are currently shading it, but South Melbourne trying to open up the door on the other end. Challenges are flying in. Wellington able to clear. Barbarouses put in trap. Halfpenny can head for home.
Just on Costa, Lockie, when he went back to New Zealand this time, you thought maybe that's the end. He's, left Sydney. It's just starting to, his career starting to sort of peter out a bit. But he's reinvented himself. He had a wonderful season last year. Scored goals. Was really dominant. Got himself back in the New Zealand national team. So credit to him. He's found new life back in his hometown.
Absolutely was an exciting late season renaissance, or late career renaissance for Costa. He'd scored 2 goals the year before. Last year was his best goal scoring season in 5 years. And you mentioned that return to the all-white setup. He captained them for the first time at the OFC Nations Cup as well. So he's a player who is aging like a fine wine and will be such a valuable contributor for these young attacking players who are still learning the ropes. So we're still learning the ropes and showing opposition players to the floor. Lucas Kelly-Heel, South Melbourne free kick. The second goal could make all of this recent promise for Wellington a moot point. Pios will take the corner. Wonder, Dave, we know that the Phoenix side are an underdone outfit. It's their first fixture of pre-season tonight, but South have played 120 minutes on the weekend. Does fatigue start to set in, or will they find a second wind?
Oh, I think it has to set in. Whether you want it or not, you're going to get it after a big performance like that on Saturday.
Pios swings it in. It is controlled initially by Jankovic, and it falls for Bernarda. Oh, the Argentine always looks threatening in and around the penalty area. That one straight into the breadbasket of Kelly-Heel. He's an experienced NPL goal scorer though, Noel Bernarda. 11 goals for South this season.
It was a great opportunity, right on the edge of the box. He almost hit it too well, and he's hit it straight at the keeper. That's one of those ones you almost want to just catch it on the edge of the ball, so it takes it away from the goalkeeper. But great opportunity. We'll just watch it here again on the replay. Left foot, toe down, hits through the ball. Unfortunately for him, straight at the keeper.
Very solid purchase on it, but just a swerve to confound Albie Kelly-Heald. Lucas Kelly-Heald for the Phoenix. Can they rescue this fixture? They were taken to extra time by an NPL outfit this time last year. It's Peninsula Power. They're looking to kill it dead, South Melbourne. Andy Brennan lines up. Your words proving prophetic, David Clarkson. The influence of Andy Brennan off the bench. He was so close to making himself a hero. A long drive.
Well, he's one of my Tasmanian brothers, so it's good to see Tasmanian doing well. He's had a really good career, and he had a couple of seasons at Newcastle Jets, a few NPL clubs. I think he's been at his happiest at South, and he's had a good season where he's, if anything could be questioned of Andy, it was perhaps his goal-scoring ratio, but he's knocked a few in. That was a good opportunity. He'll cause problems in this last 15 minutes.
He's been a pivotal player in their cup campaign, 4 goals. It's the preliminary rounds in Doherty Cup. Walker. Phoenix with plenty of yellow shirts further afield. Here's Nathan Walker again. It's been a very easy on the eye debut from the youngster. Gillian to Kelly-Heald. Another early delivery is high and away by Lampard, only as far as Altay. And Jordan Lampard all too happy to watch that one roll out for a South Melbourne goal kick.
Yeah, exactly right. I think South will be thrilled with this. They'll just soak up as much pressure as they have to. Again, see if they can hit Wellington on the counter-attack. It's really Barbarouses now. It needs to create that spark going forward for Wellington.
Another set of double changes in the offing for Wellington. And I fancy we're going to see another couple of Wellington Phoenix debutants. In fact, we are going to get two Wellington Phoenix debutants, academy players coming off the bench for their first Wellington Phoenix appearances. 18-year-old Lachlan Candy, who has been killing it on loan in the Central League for Waterside Karori this season. He is back, and great to see him get his first appearance in a Phoenix shirt. The other player who's come on is their reserve team captain, Schwen Loke. 19 years of age, right full-back. A really fascinating story about his upbringing. Oh, trouble here nearly for Albie Kelly-Heald. I'll tell you more about Schwen Loke later. He started 15 games the reserve side this season, 4 goals, which is a fairly handy return for a right back. He's one of those players who tasted OFC under-19s youth championship success. Slot right into the back 4. Barbarouses has dropped short to get the needle moving for the Knicks. Time is starting to become their enemy. Only 12 minutes left of regulation. They will start to throw more numbers forward, more caution into the wind. You can see how stacked this South defensive unit continue to be. Have they got the resolve to grind out a 1-0 win, or could they strike a second on the counter? It really is anyone's guess where this game is going from here. Lovely exchange of passes between Walker and Candy across into the middle is in search of Barbarouses. Harmlessly out the back door. And Painter Andrews can just clear for distance. Rojas to Barbarouses, the two experienced heads combining. Oh, lovely from Costa Barbarouses. Ends without an end product. Kelly Heald. Gilligan. Schwenloke. It's passed to the top of the box for Nathan Walker. And now Lachlan Candy can show what he's made of, the Phoenix youngster. And support is Loke. Continue to turn the screw, the Phoenix. And comes the delivery. Yankovic in the right place at the right time again. Harrison Sawyer is going to get the plaudits in the history books as the only goal scorer as things stand for South. But if they do go on to upset Wellington, Marko Yankovic will have a or will have had a big role to play.
Absolutely. He's been so solid, just cut out everything tonight.
Gillian. Controlled by Schwenloke. The back heel for Candy. And now Wooten. Look how high up the field the Wellington Phoenix are right now. Trying to overload this stacked South Melbourne defence. It is a South defence that is proving difficult to breach at the moment. Certainly did his homework. Did Giancarlo Italiano. He said it would be tough to score in pre-game, and it was. How easy is football? Or how easy did Costa Barbarouses make football look with a little flick like that?
It's easy to watch, that's for sure. I thought he might have got himself a free kick. Wasn't to be, but lovely piece of skill.
9 minutes left. The 90 stoppage time to come to.
What are you thinking, Lockie?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I wouldn't mind an extra 30 minutes of football personally. I could see Wellington finding their equaliser. But South Melbourne, they are the best defence in Victorian football. They are going to be put to the test in the final phase.
Here we go.
That's a good moment. Oh, and tipped away. Parried clear by Harvey Lopez off a snapshot from Lachlan Candy. It was nearly an instant impact from the Phoenix youngster on debut.
It was a lovely little turn. I'm not sure that Lopez knew a lot about it. You see it on the replay, but it looked like he saved it with his legs. He didn't quite read the flight of the ball. He did enough to get it away. And they go again.
Highly unorthodox. It was almost a volleyball style dig.
Yeah, it was.
Lopez.
Here we go.
A bit of an up and under. It was a lovely shot from Lachlan Candy.
Yeah, he got his hands up.
A bit of an up and under with the right hand. Well, unorthodox but effective. It did its job. 33-year-old Spaniard. Up to 11 clean sheets in Peel Victoria this season. Mind adding another to his tally tonight. Too much work to do this evening. It's mostly been the back four in front of him that have been tasked with keeping the Knicks attackers quiet. And using a bit of a headache for Giancarlo Italiano. Take another look at that shot from Lachlan Candy. Don't see it in many goalkeeping manuals from Harvey Lopez, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Mohamed Altay back to Isaac Hughes. This has become a half-field game for the Phoenix. If they start to rack up the chances, the pressure will be immense on South Melbourne. Got the quality on the park to do it, Wellington. phalanx of blue shirts that awaits every time they cast their eyes further afield.
It's a line of 5 and a line of 4, isn't it? Lopez and Andy Brennan.
It's exactly what you don't want to see when you are chasing a game. Out wide it comes for Lachlan Candy. At the top of the box is Altay. Wootton again. Every Phoenix player is in the front third as they look to overload South Melbourne in desperate search of an equaliser. That's a better ball though through the lines. A bit of a token hope on the right-hand side. Schwenloke just back to right full back. Now he's staring down the barrel. The second cup set in the space of 7 days, right here in Victoria. Complete 3-1 winners at the home of the Matildas last week against Sydney FC. South Melbourne are closing in. It is not a sure thing by any sense. Wellington, their knock at the door is a very persistent one, and you imagine the kitchen sink is to come from the New Zealand side.
Yeah. The difficulty for the Knicks here is these younger players just working their way through this. As we said, line of 5 and line of 4 just might take a little bit of experience. Or just some brilliance. One of the two.
Would take either. Lovely interplay, but just a bit too hot and more specifically high for Marco Rojas to handle. And he loved to mark his long-awaited Phoenix return with a goal. It's been 13 years since the last time he found the back of the net for the Knicks.
Oh,
and that's a cheap turnover by the Phoenix. Pios up the line for Brennan. Covering back well though was Isaac Hughes. Sends Andy Brennan to the turf. I dare say that Andy Brennan is helped to his feet by Lucas Kelly-Heald. I was going to say that otherwise he would not have been in a huge hurry to return to the air.
A bit like these South ball boys, Lockie. They're in no hurry to get the ball to.
I guess that's what happens when you play with home field advantage. You pick your
Absolutely.
ball boys.
Yep. Love it.
One of the beauties of the Australia Cup, all the member-fed sides drawn to A-League opposition get to play the tie at home. Both sides have been treated to a great crowd. 4,000 plus in the house. Some great defensive work once again.
Lampard's been good as well, yeah. That left side there.
Fergus Gilligan.
Oh.
Kelly-Heald able to hem that one in and drop it to the top of the penalty area. Rojas was waiting. Lovely turn from Gilligan. Really throwing it all forward now are the Phoenix. Wootton's early ball. Barusas contesting to no avail. The end result the same. Lumped away by South Melbourne. We're in a bit of a holding pattern at the moment. Wellington throw the numbers forward. They look to find that gap. The cross doesn't find a target, and South Melbourne just pump it away as far as they can get it.
Well, credit to them, Lockie. They're defending well.
They got the key to unpick this defence. Marco Rojas might be the man, but he tried to turn provider for Altay instead. Kelly-Heald scooped for Barbarusas. Just couldn't keep it alive. Fortunately for the Phoenix. South Melbourne getting set to make another substitution. The thing for Wellington is, well, they've got to contend with this home support for starters, who are having a grand old time right now. Or rather, Mac Hilson prepares to make his way onto the field to the tune of raucous chanting from the South support. Mario Barcia leaves the field of play in place of 19-year-old Mac Hilson, the former Bendigo City junior who made his South Melbourne debut on 7th of June against Manningham United Blues. And we saw him in extra time off the bench in the Doherty Cup final. He was on in similarly late circumstances in this one, but inject a bit of extra running and zip to the south side that have battened down the hatches.
Mankovic beaten there, first time tonight.
Trying not to be picked apart here. Gillian. What have they got in the locker? This youthful Phoenix 11. Lokes early cross. Oh, acrobatic attempt. Not connected with, though, on the far side by Nathan Walker. And now the foot race is on because Bernarda is 1v4 against the Wellington defence, but reinforcement is arriving in the form of Andy Brennan. Bernarda
he's done well.
Elected against the option of going for a second goal, and instead they might just take it into the corner. I mean, we're about to enter stoppage time. It is seriously working against them, Wellington. The sands of time. South Melbourne on the precipice of a win against A-League opposition.
What a great win this would be, Lucky. They can hold on.
5 minutes added on by Jack Morgan. It's a chunk of time that you'll be happy to see if you're a Phoenix supporter. It might give you a bit of a heart palpitation if you wear the blue of South Melbourne. They'll be trying to chew up the time and eat the ball away in the corner as much as they can, South.
Speaking of the blue of South Melbourne, it's wonderful to see Vaughan Coveney here tonight.
Yes.
Lucky, former South Melbourne Championship player, Hall of Famer, and obviously New Zealand international, all-time leading goal scorer.
Oh, New Zealand football icon, a former Phoenix player as well. There've been a few to trade the colours of these two clubs over the years. So Vaughan Coveney was doing the coin toss pre-match, so good to see a player from both sides connected to this one. There's been a few over the journey. Vince Lear as well started his career with South and became a Phoenix legend. Still one of their all-time top appearance makers. The starting 11 is a historic one, the youngest in Phoenix history. And they have got 4 minutes to avoid unwanted history. Barbarouses, deft control, never caught it on the finish, which is surprising from Costa Barbarouses.
Yeah, it was a great run and lovely little ball in by Rojas. His first touch was super. Hit it on the left, which is not his preferred foot. He just wasn't balanced, and he almost got caught in two minds with a shot cross.
Just a little lob into the back post, because even if you don't get that one on target, you might have a runner following it in. But I guess the silver lining for Wellington is that the finish totally escaped Costa Barbarouses on that occasion, but the link up between he and Marco Rojas in the build-up, I'm sure Knicks fans will be hoping to see more of that in season 2024-25. It's going to be a long pre-season without Australia Cup football if they're knocked out. Still a long way away to the 20th of October. They host Western United in round 1 at Sky Stadium. They'll still have the chance to organise pre-season friendlies, but it does help the A-League sides to have the cup built into that pre-season campaign. Maybe tonight, under the bright lights of Lakeside, it is South Melbourne's time. Just about got one hand on the result.
Don't jinx it.
We'll be joining the likes of Oakley Cannons, Green Gully, Heidelberg United, Victorian sides to pull off a cup set. Well, this is kitchen sink territory for the Phoenix. Albie Kelly healed. The keeper is up from the back. It is all or nothing for the Knicks as they look to force extra time. And the touches had to be careful and accurate. Good time from Marco Rojas. But it's at the feet of Andy Brennan. This is where South Melbourne want to have the ball.
Oh, Andy kicked the ball.
But he's just flicked the goose there. Oh, what a challenge.
Lampard.
What an intervention from Jordan Lampard. Those are the kind of moments that can make all the difference in the dying embers. Launched forward again, contested by Kelly Heald. Cleared by Emil Pios.
And it stayed in as well.
Didn't even get the respite of a throw. Gillian will carry it forward for the visitors. Travel too far to leave with nothing. It's a shallow clearance. The first head will be Jordan Lampard's. This might be it for the Phoenix. Sized up by Gillian. Only cleared as far as the top of the box. Kelly Heald couldn't control. Inglese rockets it away. Brennan brings it down. What a first touch it was. He's been robbed of possession brilliantly. It's Loke, the youngster. And now to Candy on the far side. His touch escaped him. And there are 10 seconds of stoppage time left to play. The Lakeside grandstand, but for the little corner of yellow on the left-hand side of your picture, are off their feet. There's 2 balls on the field at the moment. Jack Morgan, or Jonathan Barrera rather, having to knock this one away. And Javi Lopez's goal kick could be it. Some Phoenix fans are heading for the exit, but no South Melbourne supporter will be any rush to leave. If the full-time whistle sounds, the entire South bench up in arms. They're asking the question, will they get their answer?
There it is.
South Melbourne are there. It is cup set time at Lakeside.
Wellington Phoenix 0.
Doherty Cup champions on Saturday. And the NSL Giants, the 4-time champions, haven't waited long to add another famous moment to their history books. Harrison Sawyer's goal inside the opening 5 minutes has set off jubilant scenes for South in front of their home support. A massive week for the football club. Another exciting turn. Harrison Sawyer, the talk of the town, as South Melbourne pull off just the 15th cup set in the 10 years of the Australia Cup. It was a grind, it was hard work, but this South defence was dogged. They stood tall, and their fans, David Clarkson, have a result to savour.
What a wonderful night for the club, really. And coming off the back of what they did on Saturday, just a really, really professional, solid performance. To beat an A-League club, okay, they weren't at full strength, but to do it like they've done it was a really, really fantastic performance. I'm thrilled for the club. I'm thrilled for all the supporters of this beautiful, historic club, and congratulations. Wonderful.
Famous night for a historic football club, and Harrison Sawyer is the man who will be the talk of the town, the toast of the town at Lakeside, the hero of this round of 32 clash, which ends at full time. South Melbourne 1, Wellington Phoenix 0. We'll take a look again at that fateful moment. Harrison Sawyer writes his name in South Melbourne folklore with that finish. And what a finish it was.
Yeah, it was a terrific finish. Early on in the game, it set it up for them, really. The way we've spoken about it, the way he let it come across his body and then just place it in the bottom corner. Here he is again on the volley. Beautiful volley on the side volley, actually. Thought that was going to nestle in the net. It was a great opportunity.
Did have their chances to add to the ledger in the second half, South Melbourne. That was a stinging drive from Noel Bernarda, and this was kind of the tale of the day for the Phoenix. So many almost moments. Barbarousis with another chance where he only half got to it. This was probably their best chance of the second half, that fizzing drive from Lachlan Candy. And that was all they could really muster as they looked to pull themselves out of the fire. They did edge it on the XG, but the shot count was even. They dominated possession, did Phoenix, as South Melbourne set themselves up for all-out defensive warfare. But despite all of the ball, they couldn't create enough chilling chances to trouble the scoreline. And South Melbourne were just oh so resolute throughout the entire 90. It is quite an effort to sit on that lead for 85 minutes, but they did it well, and the likes of Yankovic and Jordan Lampard, Dave Clarkson, they were some of the standouts, weren't they?
I was about to say, Lockie, well said. Yankovic was outstanding, really was. Lampard, brilliant. You know, Lopez, top goalkeeper. They're really, really solid. We've seen it throughout the season in the NPL Victoria competition. They don't give away much. Again tonight, they really didn't give Wellington too many opportunities. And it's a wonderful night, as we said, for this club. Here's a celebration.
And this is what it's all about.
Yep.
South Melbourne, well, they tasted silverware success just a few days earlier, but this will be just as sweet as Doherty Club glory, knocking off A-League opposition for the first time. And
what's next?
What is next? Well, they've got a big clash with Avondale this Saturday. They could seal the NPL Victoria Premier's plate, but there is even more to come in the Australia Cup tomorrow night, where Heidelberg United will be looking to join the party at Olympic Village. They take on the treble winners Central Coast Mariners. It'll be a big ask to upset A-League opposition, but you just never know the way these cup sets have been going for Victorian sides. Another few big clashes on Wednesday evening's action. Olympic FC will face Apia Leichhardt in a tasty Queensland v New South Wales battle, while the Arctic Circle will play host to Australia Cup action as NWS Spirit will host Glenorchy Knights. So a real entertaining bevy of cup games tomorrow. Something for everyone in that lot, I say.
Yeah, and as we said, it's just a fantastic competition, isn't it? We see clubs that we don't normally see throughout the year, and then to get these NPL clubs playing against A-League clubs, it's brilliant.
It has taken them a number of tries, South Melbourne at the national stage, but finally they have climbed the mountain, conquered A-League opposition, and those players and those fans. I reckon the celebrations here at Lakeside will continue long into the night. It's been a cup evening for the ages, one that the NPL Victoria outfit will not forget in some time. We sign off from Lakeside Stadium, where South Melbourne have joined the cup set party. They knocked off Wellington Phoenix by a scoreline of 1-0. What a night here at Albert Park.
Yeah, we've got the hero for South Melbourne, Harrison Sawyer. Harrison, well done. What a night and what a season it's been for you. What does that feel like for you and the club tonight?
Yeah, it's an amazing occasion. There's a few sore bodies out there after we won the Doherty Cup on Saturday, but no rest for the wicket, and it was good to get a win in 90 minutes, and all the boys are buzzing. So can't wait for the draw. I think they all want it to be now, so we know where we're going next.
You have to wait another 24 hours for that. You did come off. Was that just self-preservation, given you'd played so much football in the last week?
Yeah, like the last game went to extra time, and then on Saturday coming, we got a huge game in the title race for us. So kind of load management. Didn't want to come off, but Esteban pulled me off, so it's all good.
You've had an outstanding season. You're leading the goal-scoring charts. We know you've had A-League experience. Do you feel like you're playing some of your best football this season?
Yeah, probably. I'm playing confident, and we've got a really good structure here, and all the boys work really hard. So it's a lot easier when you've got a lot of hard workers behind you, and you can kind of finish off their hard work, but enjoying it. Yeah.
How difficult is it to manage? I know a lot of the boys work. You also work during the week, and then you back it up playing and training early in the morning and playing 3 games a week. How far can this team go, and how difficult is it for a semi-professional footballer?
Yeah, a lot of the boys are yelling at me now. Probably because they got an early morning. Some of them are tradies. Mario tried to get an RDO today, but no success with the bosses. But it's good training in the morning. You get it out of the way, and a lot of the boys have time with their families at home in the evening. So it's a good change. But yeah, we're in the trenches at the moment, but we're doing well. 2 from 3 this week, so let's keep it rolling.
And you must be confident you can further progress in this competition, given your form this season.
Yeah, hopefully. We have the aim to go all the way, so we're going to go for every game that we can and try and win every game. Obviously, it will get tougher when A-League opposition get a few more weeks under their belt, but let's try and get for it.
Well done. We'll let you enjoy it.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you.
You too.
See you next
around,
time.
yeah.
Coach, yeah. Can you guys not come over there, or?
We can do, yeah.
Yeah.